great. Hope you're having a wonderful, soon to be Christmas, right? We celebrate the birth and the life of Jesus Christ. Well, Jesus Christ instilled in us courage and conviction. And Jesus Christ, of course, stood up to tyranny, right? That was one of Jesus Christ's themes in his life. He stood up to tyranny and he didn't back down and he stood up for the truth, right? As I have throughout my entirety in Wayne, Michigan. So I want to welcome you personally to Wayne, Michigan. We're a little shithole city next to an atomic waste dump in Belleville, Michigan, Buren Township, rather. And we have a really fucked up city council. We have a really fucked up mayor who's a total piece of shit. We have a really total piece of shit city manager, Diane Webb. So let me give you a breakdown of the city of Wayne. Let me give you a breakdown. As someone who's lived in the city about 2 years, who kind of knows everybody, kind of knows everything. I don't know everything, but I'm on my way, trust me. And yeah, we have just so you know, if you ever come to Wayne, Michigan, we do like to enforce laws that don't exist, right? So we like to make up laws on the fly, make up ordinances on the fly. We actually, better yet, more accurately, welcome to Wayne, Michigan, where we have our fire marshal who's illiterate write the law for us, right? Jeremy Schneider, that's our fire marshal. We have him write the law for us, even though the fire department can't legislate law. But in the city of Wayne, Michigan, we do things a little bit differently here. And that's one of the things that we do is, man, look at that fucked hairline. I love it. But what we do, though, is we allow illiterate fire marshals, Jeremy Schneider in this particular case, we allow them to write the law, right? And then when we get caught violating the real law, that's called the Supremacy Clause of the United States, right? The Supremacy Clause. When we get caught violating the Supremacy Clause, enforcing ordinances that don't exist, well, then our city council doubles down, right? Which is led by John Racy, the mayor. Cuckold John Racy with his snaggletooth and his soon-to-be dead cancer surviving wife, right? Who's another cuntbag bitch who needs to get cancer again. She likes to encourage his stupidity. So under the leadership of John Racy, right, the city council, Rob Darwich, Kathy Lawrence, Deborah Wise, I think her name is, Alfred Brock, what's the other, Donald Quarles, Kevin Dowd, of course, under the guidance of Tina Parnell and Diane Webb, the city manager. Tina Parnell, she's the city clerk. Diane Webb, she's the city manager. I know I'm forgetting some worthless motherfucker. I can't remember. Rob Darwich, I think I already said him. But if I did forget somebody, I do apologize. But that should pretty much cover everybody. But yeah, we have those worthless pieces of shit combined with Jeremy Schneider, the fire marshal, the fire chief, Michael. Man, I can't think of his last name right off the top of my head. And then, of course, you got Deputy Chief Finley Carter, as well as Chief of Police Ryan Strong, with the, obviously the city manager, Diane Webb, right? She's in control, supposedly. But then she says in video that it's over her head, right? So things that pertain to the city are over her head, even though she's the city manager. Not quite sure how that works exactly, but she'll be subpoenaed to court. She'll have to testify in court what she means by that exactly. It's over her head, right? Which I'm not sure how, if you can be the city manager, how anything can be over your head. Or how you can be the chief of police, right? Ryan Strong, he said that my particular case, what happened to me, that was over his head. He didn't have anything to do with it, right? Which is incredible. Incredible that you could live in a town of 17,000 people, effectively like a few square miles of land. And everyone works in the same building. Everyone, knows each other. Everybody went to the same high school, but nobody knows nothing, right? That's the amazing thing about Wayne, Michigan. Diane Webb, who openly bragged in front of me and my wife, claiming that the city of Wayne is a joke to run, that it's easy, it's simple, it requires virtually no effort to run the city of Wayne. But then she says things are over her head, you know. They're out of her control, right? Which is weird because that literally is what city manager means, that you manage the city. But nonetheless, the city of Wayne, they hire Michael Bosnick and Carolyn Miller. Those are the contracted city attorneys for the city of Wayne. They do their evil for them because apparently that's kind of like their plausible deniability, because it's really hard to personally hold a prosecutor liable. So I guess that's their out, right? That's their plausible deniability. The city of Wayne thinks it is, where they just have their contracted city attorneys do all their evil bidding for them, and that's what they try to hide behind, right? Right? Nobody knows nothing, right? You have a council of 7 people. You have a city clerk, a city manager, two city attorneys, right? But somehow, one way or another, nobody knows anything, right? Nobody knows anything. And then, of course, you got Rob Darwich on December 3rd talking about he's very thankful for this ordinance, this 2025-02 open burn ordinance that they passed, which, again, I wipe my ass with that ordinance. I dare the city of Wayne to step foot on my fucking private property to enforce that garbage, that void for vagueness garbage. I hope they do. I hope they do, because we'll add it to the other 5 lawsuits that were currently pending right now. Because to make no mistake about it, every time the city of Wayne broke into my property, it's its own lawsuit. So every day that you violated my rights, that's its own lawsuit. And so I hope the city of Wayne continues to enforce garbage and comes to my house to try to... Oh, I hope they come without a warrant too, like they've been doing. I hope that they do, because that would be great. That would be great for the current and pending and future litigation against the shithole, atomic dump, bomb-infested place that we call City of Wayne, Michigan. Now, make no mistake about it. I live in Glenwood. I love my neighbors in Glenwood. I love the people of Glenwood. But the City of Wayne itself is just, you know, when I say this, I'm speaking about the government. I'm speaking about the government. I'm not speaking about the common rank and file workers, of course. I'm speaking about the leadership of Wayne, right? The so-called leadership. The same leadership that doesn't understand what void for vagueness is and doesn't understand how to write a proper ordinance, even with the, you know. And then, of course, they have Jeremy Schneider, who's the fire marshal, who's not he's not elected, so he can't legislate anything. We've already seen him try to legislate before with the open burn policy. He's the reason why the city of Wayne's being sued. Well, one of the reasons why. He's the main reason why, apparently. But, you know, as we discussed in previous videos, the open burn policy is not a policy at all. It's not even plausible that it could be an ordinance because of how poorly written it was. It really is just illiteracy, really, is what it is. Hello, bro. There's no one. How you doing? Yeah, there really isn't nobody in the city of Wayne. Sadly, I'm the city of Wayne's only hope. So I appreciate your guys' support, and I appreciate you having the confidence in me. Although I think people in the city have more confidence in me than I do myself, but I'm learning. You know, I'm a very humble person. I come from very humble origins, and you know, I always used to kind of like underestimate my abilities a little bit, right? And then I moved to the city of Wayne, and I saw that these people really just are mind-blowingly retarded, right? That's the word. Room temperature IQ is what I call them, because they do appear collectively to have a room temperature IQ. I mean, it's amazing how bad the city of Wayne government can fuck things up. But never underestimate their ability to fuck things up, guys. Never underestimate their ability. And just enjoy the show, guys. 2026 is going to be a great year for the city of Wayne. Lots of lawsuits. I mean, lots of lawsuits. Lawsuit after lawsuit, just like they did to me. Bond violation after bond violation, which eventually they disposed of them all because there was no probable cause to even charge me in the first place. But, you know, it's going to be like that, except these charges aren't going to be disposed. We're going to see these through to the very end because we believe that the truth is more important than a settlement or some undisclosed amount of money. I would rather not get paid and force the city of Wayne to have to admit on the record that they violated the law than to take a settlement. That's my mentality, right? Because, like I said, there's some things that are just more important than money, and the truth is certainly one of them. And that's how I honor Jesus Christ. I honor Jesus Christ by not letting tyranny win, by not letting I honor Jesus Christ by simply not allowing tyranny to flourish and not allowing tyranny to subvert our institutions, right? And every now and again, we have to have a great reset. We have to, kind of start fresh and start over. Every once in a while, you got to clean house, right? Sometimes the dust gets everywhere, and then eventually you just got to take everything out, clean the house, and, clean everything off and start over. So that's what we're going to do in the city of Wayne, Michigan, because while John Racy's a piece of shit, that's enough reason alone for me to run forever, just so I can, tarnish his legacy, right? His legacy, right? I use that with air quotes because there is no legacy other than scandals, fraud, retaliatory workplace, Lisa Nocerini, the piece of shit that is Al Haynes, which, again, Al Haynes, please drop dead sooner than later if you don't mind, because there's a list of people. I can't give them their names, and they don't include me, right? But there are a list of people that want to shit and piss on your grave. There are a list, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people that you've personally fucked over the decades that want nothing more than to see you drop dead so they can piss and shit on your grave. Me not being one of them. I would never piss and shit on anybody's grave. And I'm not advocating anybody do that. But let's just say I've heard some things. I've heard some things through the grapevine. And Al Haynes and John Racy and Lisa Nocerini and Carolyn Miller and Michael Bosnick and all these other pieces of shit, Tina Parnell and Diane Webb and, Rob Darwich and Alfred Brock and Kevin Dowd and Donald Quarles, all these pieces of shit, Kathy Lawrence, all these pieces of shit, right, that claim to represent the best interest of Wayne taxpayers. Well, needless to say, there's probably at this point thousands of people nationally that want to piss and shit on your graves, that want nothing more than to piss and shit on your graves. Now, me not being one of them, again, like I'm going to reiterate, I would never piss and shit on nobody's grave, nor would I ever advocate for it, nor would I ever encourage it, condone it, none of that, of course. So I just want to make that crystal clear. But I've heard through the grapevine on more than one occasion that there may or may not be some people that are just waiting for you to drop dead. Now, they're not going to kill you, from what I heard. They don't want to kill you. Who would want to kill somebody? That's the ultimate sin. But they do want you to drop dead sooner than later. So you'll stop terrorizing and harassing and frauding the taxpayers of Wayne, right? Frauding them out of their money. But most importantly, so they can piss and shit on your grave. Because I guess they're not well liked in the city of Wayne. Who would have thought, right? When you violate the Constitution to enforce laws that don't exist, put disabled veterans in jail under the precedent of phantom ordinance enforcement, to keep them in jail indefinitely and to over-sentence them beyond what the maximum guidelines allow, right? Simply because you don't want me and my family to go into your public offices with cameras and record you live in the conduct of your duties, right? You don't want us to expose you. You don't want us to be recording you live, because it's weird. Every time I record you live, you violate the law openly, right? It's weird. Just like when I saw the bailiff, when I went into the 29th District Court to file some paperwork back in June, and I saw the bailiff outside touching the door, smoking cigarettes. The only entrance and exits to the whole building, and the public entrance, mind you. And just casually smoking fags right in front of the door, like it's I think it was on a Tuesday too, or a Wednesday, and you're just like, wow, what better symbolism for the city of Wade than that garbage, right? What better symbolism than that? You're trying to conduct your business at the 29th District Court. Business that shouldn't even exist, right? Because you're charged with a fake crime. You're charged with a crime that you can't obstruct the enforcement of something that doesn't exist. That's not lawful, right? But, try to tell that to cunt, bitch, hag, cunt, faggot, whore, bag, slut, Brita O'Leary. No, I mean the honorable Brita O'Leary. There's nothing honorable about that bitch. Oh, I forgot to mention her too, that cunt. Yeah, please drop dead as soon as possible. Those are my Christmas wishes to you. Hope you and your family and your husband all drop fucking dead as quickly as humanly fucking possible, because you are a fucking cancer on this whole county. You cunt hag bitch is what the fuck you are. To put someone in jail because you're too fucking lazy, or you're too ignorant to understand what an ordinance is, or you just don't care. You just don't care. Oh, well, he insulted us, so he's got to go to jail. Well, here's my message. Fuck you and fuck all you. You're all pieces of shit. Y'all can drop fucking dead. For what you did to my fucking family and my household, you'll never be forgiven. Fuck you. That's my message to you. All of you pieces of human dog shit. You are fucking human dog shit. Human dog shit. You're below dog shit. You're below cat shit. You're a special kind of dog shit. You're a special kind of shit. That's what the fuck you are. Sorry, I lost my composure there for a minute. But when you're traumatized, when you're thrown in a dungeon because you violated a law that doesn't exist, right? It's kind of traumatizing, and it kind of triggers flashbacks, right? The city of Wayne wants to thank our veterans so much while exacerbating their PTSD and causing flashbacks, right? Directly caused by their actions, right? Directly caused. The bottom line is, here's the simple fact of the matter. They don't have a valid ordinance. They never did, and they still don't. And even if you did, guys, here's a little secret. You can't violate the Fourth Amendment to enforce the law, right? You can't do it with a felony, but you certainly can't do it with a misdemeanor. That's Welsh versus Wisconsin, 1983, I believe it was. You cannot warrantlessly trespass or search and seize property to enforce a minor violation of the law, a non-serious crime, a misdemeanor, right? And so, I don't know, like I said, Michael Bosnick, I don't know what crack pipe you're smoking out of, Carolyn Miller, cunt bitch, Skeletor Carolyn Miller, Kmart, I don't know what crack pipe you're smoking out of, whore. I really don't know what crack pipe you're smoking out of, but you must be smoking some good Heisenberg meth or something, or some Pablo Escobar cocaine or something, because you guys are out of your fucking minds. You guys are out of your fucking minds. Retards is what you are. But congratulations, like I said, I can't wait for nothing more but then to embarrass you in court and to make you look like the degenerate pieces of shit that you truly are, because that's what you are. It's not about money. This got nothing to do with money, right? The simple fact of the matter is you're on the wrong side of the law, and it's not hard to prove. It's pretty easy to prove. And most of the Wayne Police Department and, well, the Wayne Fire Department shouldn't even exist. Let's just be frank. Nor should the police department exist, to be frank, either. It's called contracted out to another municipality that can do it far better and far cheaper. But nothing that the city of Wayne does is lawful. Half of their charter is unconstitutional. It's void for vagueness, and that's what we're running on, guys. We're running on getting rid of the status quo so we can repeal, the vast majority of these ordinances, because, like I said, they're not enforceable, void for vagueness garbage, and all they're designed to do is to invite arbitrary enforcement, to enforce all. That's the city of Wayne in a nutshell. They have these laws on the books, right, on the books, so they can enforce them against people that they don't like. Well, needless to say, we've done some research, we've done some digging, and we have a good accurate list of all of the burn pits in the city of Wayne. And needless to say, we haven't found a single one that is compliant with this new ordinance that they passed, right? So and since they don't want to answer questions, they don't want to answer their phones and be held accountable to the public. They don't want to put their statements on the record because they don't want to get their story twisted, because they lie so much, right? They lie so much that their tactic is to just not say anything at all, because every time they speak, they slip and fuck up, and then they get some sued, right? So, but nonetheless, I hope all you humans that are watching this have a Merry Christmas. If you're associated with the city of Wayne in any governmental capacity, go fuck yourself and go slip on a banana peel and break your fucking neck and be a paraplegic. Please and thank you. As quickly as humanly possible. So that way the city of Wayne doesn't have to be terrorized. The taxpayers of this city don't have to be terrorized by your buffoonery, your bumfuckery, and your incompetence, right? Because that's what it is. It's malicious incompetence is what it is. That's what the city of Wayne is in a nutshell. Yeah, your head is huge. Yeah, my head is huge. You should see my dick head. If you think the head on my shoulders is huge, you should see the head on my dick, right? They match. So, thank you for the comment. I do have a big dick head. I do have a big dick head. Yeah, I concur with that statement. But yeah, I gotta go inside. Wild Bill's Tobacco here. Shout out to Wild Bill's in Westland, Michigan. Shout out to those very fine people on both sides. But unfortunately, the city of Wayne doesn't have any very fine people on both sides. The taxpayers, by and large, are good people. But the government, yeah, about that. Well, we're going to be getting started after this new year. We're going to be getting started on filing those new lawsuits, right? There'll be, well, how many will there be? 4? No, I think 5, actually. You got Gregory for the ledger board fiasco where he didn't inspect he charged me for a deck inspection, but didn't point out the fact that there was 5 giant holes dug right next to my patio, which caused my patio to heave. And, he just missed the ledger board, which is literally the most important part of a deck, which would be the first thing you would inspect. But he just missed the fact that the ledger board wasn't even attached to the house, guys. Wasn't even attached to the house. So luckily, my junior college educated ass, spotted it and pointed it out. Otherwise, there would have been a deck collapse in the city of Wayne. But you think the city of Wayne gives a fuck? No. They don't. See, they charge you for these inspections and these permits, and then they don't even give you what you paid for. They force you to pay for them, and then they don't even provide what they force you to pay for. And then when you try to get questions and get accountability for the fuck up, they just hide behind they just hide in their building and engineering office, right? The same office that's connected to the fire department. But nobody knows anything, right? The fire department didn't know that fire pit was approved during the certificate of occupancy, even though it's the same building. And interesting stuff, very interesting stuff. But yeah, city of Wayne, good job. So yeah, that lawsuit for Inspector Gregory for the ledger board and ruining my patio, which could have easily been prevented had we had a competent inspector that was trained. Or I could have. Here's another thought, guys. I could have not given the city of Wayne their money that they shook me down for, and I could have hired a private inspector who would have gave me an actual inspection, right? I could have hired someone that works in the real world, and they would have caught the obvious, deficiencies, right? But killer decks, right? Yeah, killer decks, literally killer decks. But see, the city of Wayne has been inspecting these garbage decks that's been subcontracted to Steve Schroll at Killer Decks. They've been inspecting them so long that they just rubber stamp them. They don't even bother getting out of the truck to actually inspect them. They just, because they missed hangers, they missed what do they call them? Truss joists. They missed the joist. They missed all sorts of shit. But the ledger board, that was the biggest thing, of course, and the electrical not working. They didn't bother to comment on that. It was short circuited. Right, the damage to the concrete patio, they didn't, nothing. They didn't even, it's like they didn't even give an inspection, right? And then when you ask for clarification, they just say, "Oh, sorry, we fucked up," and then they hide from you. Inspector Gregory. We filed a lawsuit for you, Gregory, and then as well as Jennifer Stamper. Jennifer Stamper, she's the tax assessor in the city of Wayne, and she claims that you're not allowed to have MCL 211.7B and rent your house out. So you're not allowed to own or occupy, rent your house out, even though the rental registration paperwork says owner occupied boarding house. But apparently you're not allowed to have an asset, in this case my house, and you're not allowed to make money on it, or better, yeah, I'm not even making money on it. I lose money on it. But I'm not even allowed to open my house to strangers because the city of Wayne doesn't approve of it, right? They don't approve of it, even though they did by giving me the rental registration. And their ordinance requires you to register your property as a rental. And so I did that, but then the city of Wayne retroactively, like 9 months later, went back and said, oh no, they're changing the definitions of words, playing stupid, right? Saying, oh, well, he doesn't own or occupy the house anymore because he rented a room out. He posted it on Facebook. We don't have any proof that these people actually live here. But he posted a room for rent on Facebook. He lives in a 7-bedroom house, and he's got a family of 4, and he posted a spare bedroom on the internet for rent. And we use that as the basis to take away his disabled veteran tax exemption that's guaranteed through the state of Michigan. Despite the fact that the city ordinance 1484 or 1486, I believe it is, requires anyone living in your house, a family or not, anyone who's not immediate family living in your house, you must register your property as a rental property. And then, of course, in the rental registration, the city has it listed as an owner-occupied boarding house. But then Jennifer Stamper went back 9 months later and retroactively denied it and claimed that I owe the city of Wayne $15,000 because apparently in the city of Wayne, they get to make, like I said, the city of Wayne makes up their own laws. You know, they can supersede the state law, in this case, MCL 211.7B, but they can also supersede the U.S. Constitution and the Michigan state constitution. We've seen that with their fire pit open burn enforcement, right? And so, yeah, Jennifer Stamper is getting a nice lawsuit because I don't have to wait for the Michigan Tax Tribunal to make a decision because it's not about the decision. You know, I don't have any grievances with what I have a grievance with is the open violations of the law, the logical inconsistencies. That's what I have an issue with, right? I have an issue with the fact that my property is registered with the city in the registration paperwork. It's listed as an owner-occupied boarding house, but then the city tax assessor says that I don't own or occupy the house as a primary residence. But of course, does she cite any other property that I own that I live in? Of course not. Of course not. You know, her basis for denying me the tax exemption that I fought and bled for in the United States Army, the basis for denying it is because I posted a room for rent on Facebook, a spare bedroom. I posted a spare bedroom for rent on Facebook. So that means I don't own or occupy the house as a primary residence, I guess, which is interesting logic to say the least. Well, no, it's not actually logical. It's called abuse of legal process, and that's what she's being sued for intentionally and willfully trying to inflict maximum emotional distress upon me and my family. And of course, you know, abusing the legal process because there's no lawful basis for that denial. There's no logical basis for it. It's just like I said, the city of Wayne, and that's another message to you. You can go fuck yourself too, Jennifer Stamper. I add you into the list of pieces of shit, right? In the city of Wayne. So yeah, please drop dead as soon as humanly possible. I'm not advocating for violence. I never would. But please drop dead so the people that want to shit and piss on your grave can. Not me or anyone that I know personally. I just want to, get that clear for the record. I don't want to, violate no probation, right? But I am allowed to have my opinion. I'm allowed to call someone a piece of shit. I'm allowed to say deplorable things. That's what the Constitution is. That's what the First Amendment's there for. And I'm not advocating anyone go harass or intimidate or threaten any of those people, because God will take care of them for us. But yeah, I digress. So that's two lawsuits. Inspector Gregory's getting a lawsuit. Jennifer Stamper's getting a lawsuit. And then, of course, we have March 28th of 2024. That's its own separate lawsuit against the fire department. And then, that's going to kind of get the party started, because then at that point, once we establish that the city of Wayne doesn't have an open burn ordinance that's enforceable, they don't even have one at all, and they violated the Fourth Amendment and broke into my house without a warrant. Once we establish that, once we establish from March 28, 2024 onward that the fire department engaged in unlawful activity, then we're going to get into lawsuit number 4 and 5 and probably 6 and 7, because I don't think the city of Wayne is smart enough to realize how fucked they are. And I suspect that, as I continue to open burn in the city of Wayne, as I continue to do my thing on my 3-acre property, that's mine. That's not public land, by the way. I suspect that the city of Wayne is going to continue to warrantlessly break into my property to enforce void for vagueness laws, or laws that don't exist, or whatever they think that, they think because they put on paper that we can violate your rights to enforce this ordinance somehow makes it lawful. It doesn't, guys. It doesn't at all. So, I suspect that there'll be more lawsuits, but lawsuit number 3 will be March 28th of 2024 against the fire department. And then lawsuit number 4 will be May 9th. And then May 19th. So every day that they violated my rights will be its own lawsuit. It'll be its own lawsuit. And so, good luck, City of Wayne. Good luck with that. I gave you every opportunity humanly possible to leave me and my family the fuck alone. But you just couldn't resist it. You just, it's like you got a sex addiction or something, right? It's like you guys just tickle me so much. I tickle your fancy so much, you guys can't help it. I know I have the best property in Wayne. I know I apparently have the biggest penis in Wayne, and I'm the only one who's got a spine in Wayne and all that. I understand that, right? I understand I got the biggest and baddest and best that Wayne will ever have to offer, which is sad because I don't think my property is all that personally, but for Wayne standards, it's just ahead of its time. Hey, thanks, man. I am keeping my head up. I hope you keep your head up too, man. Big head, yeah. I don't know how my mom gave natural birth to me, man. I don't fucking know, and I don't want to know, but I think I know why she's never had a boyfriend, a real boyfriend, since, yeah, I love you too. But I think I know why she's never had a real boyfriend since I was born, right? I think I know why, because this fucking head did some damage. You look like Aaron Paul's cousin. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Aaron Paul, that's a noble motherfucker. That's a good guy. I resonate with Aaron Paul a little bit, like when he was kidnapped by the white supremacists, and then Walter White had to save him. I do resonate with that a little bit. Not to say it was that extreme, but it kind of was. It kind of was that extreme, though, if you really think about it. To be sitting in jail past what the guideline even allows, because you're charged with obstructing the enforcement of a law that doesn't exist, right? You're falsely accused of a fake crime, essentially, and you're sitting in jail because of it. Yeah. And then you've overserved the sentence, and, you would think the ethical 29th District Court would say, okay, he served the sentence, we have to release him. No. They're going to keep you in jail for... Now I'm hearing the white supremacists got you. Yeah, the city of Wayne, the white supremacists in the city of Wayne. Because that's what they are. That's what they act like, right? Where they just make up laws and, hey... You ain't from around here, boy, That's their mentality. Let them eat cake. That's their mentality. Completely detached from the suffering of normal people. And yeah, we love it. We love it. We don't love it. We absolutely despise it, and we're going to do everything we can to stop it and to vote it out of existence. But not just vote it out of existence, because that's not enough, right? Because these same pieces of shit will parasite their way back into office. They always do. So the only solution is to abolish, to annex, to repeal the city of Wayne, to repeal as much of their city charter as possible, and to annex as much of the city as possible, and to, get rid of it, right? It's redundant, it's garbage, it's white trash, and it's black trash. That's all the city of Wayne is. It's just a bunch of bums. It's a bunch of fucking losers. It's a bunch of idiots. It's a bunch of illiterate pieces of shit who went to Wayne Memorial High School, right? And they just can't help the fact that they're just not that good. They're just not that, you know, nobody gives a fuck about the city of Wayne. When you tell people, oh, I'm from Wayne, Michigan, they think Wayne County. They don't even know the city of Wayne exists. That's how irrelevant it is. And so you're like, man, why does this place even exist? Like, what's its purpose? And a lot of people have that same question. A lot of people look at their tax bill and scratch their head and go, what am I paying all these taxes for? What am I getting out of this? Right? You have gunshots, you have shootings that occur at the Hype Center, seemingly on a monthly basis, right? The Hype Center, Al Hanus Community Center, right? Fuck Al Hanus. Al Hanus is a piece of shit, a worthless piece of shit. He's things that I can't even say on this live stream. But yeah, every other week, every other month, there's a shooting at the Hype Center, which is, you know, right in the middle of the east side of town, and you know, people are just scratching their head like, man, what am I paying all these taxes for? To be the victim of a drive-by, to be the victim of a car break-in, to have my house invaded, to have my property broken into by the government or by not the government. Government's not, you know, the police ain't going to solve it either way. So, you know, you beg the question. And then I have this fire department that, you know, like, what do we need all this for? Valid question, guys. I asked the same thing when I moved to Wayne. That's the first thing. First of all, I didn't know what the fuck Wayne was. I didn't even know Wayne existed. I said, wait a minute, Wayne? What? There's a city called Wayne? And then you're like, man, this is a shithole. Nice property. I own a real nice piece of property. You know, and I'm about to make it nicer, Zook Pond and you know, some other enhancements. But my God, I mean, the city of Wayne just acts like there's a fucking treasure chest buried in that property or something. I mean, it kind of is in a way, you know, compared to the shithole atomic waste dump that is the east side. And you know, I couldn't live. Like, here's the thing, right? This is me. I couldn't live in a property that had less than 2 acres, right? I mean, that's just me though, and I'm a fucking bum from Montcalm County, right? I'm a piece of hillbilly white trash from Montcalm County, guys, and even I have higher standards in the city of Wayne. You know, everyone says, oh, he's pompous. And it's like, no, hardly pompous at all. I just call a spade, right? And I'm the crazy one for that, right? Yeah, I'm the crazy one because I point out that this law doesn't exist and it's void for vagueness and it contradicts itself. And it still doesn't supersede the 4th and 14th Amendments, right? And so, man, what an inconvenience that Constitution is, man. Thank God for the Constitution, though. Because if we didn't have that, us boys in the city of Wayne, us Waynos would be in real trouble. But, no, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Fuck the city of Wayne. Fuck it in its entirety. You can all suck my 8-inch dick to the balls. Or the dick and balls. You can suck my dick and balls, right, Carrie? That's what you put in the police report. That I said dick and balls. I didn't say dick and balls. Okay, I don't have 8-inch balls. Okay, my balls don't hang 8 inches from, you know, that's just fucking weird. But, you know, yeah, we'll get you the police report. I'll post the police report on here so you guys can check it out. Yeah, dick and balls, my 8-inch dick and balls, right? That's fucking hilarious. It's so stupid. It sounds so stupid, right? Like nobody, you know. I you know, when the government's breaking into my house without a warrant to enforce a law that doesn't exist, and I tell them to suck my dick, get off my property, and then Carolyn Miller tries to charge me with a conditional bond violation, saying that I threatened and intimidated the police and the fire department. Yeah, they broke into my house to enforce a law that doesn't exist without a warrant, without consent. But I'm the one intimidating and threatening them. Yeah, that's some fucking crack whore logic for you right there, guys. That's some Kmart logic. That's why Kmart's no longer in business. Yeah, that's some Kmart logic right there, guys. Yeah, you're sitting on your own private property, minding your own business, and the fire department comes into your property to enforce a law that doesn't exist without a warrant. The key is without a warrant here. And, they charge you with crimes because you said a naughty word. You told someone to suck your dick after they broke into your property. And you're the criminal, not them. You're the criminal. Yeah, that's that Wayne logic for you. That's that Carolyn Miller cunt hag bitch logic for you. Well, fuck you, Carrie Miller. Fuck you, spinster cunt bitch. And we'll see about that, whore. We'll see about that, because you'll be subpoenaed to court. Don't worry, you'll have to go to court. You'll be going to more than just court, though. You'll be going in front of the JTC and the Attorney Grievance Commission, but you'll be going far beyond that. Far beyond that, guys. So congratulations, Carrie. Congratulations, Kmart. Fucking whore. And fuck you too, Judge Brito O'Leary. Fuck you, whore. Drop fucking dead. And your husband's a little cuck bitch. He's a little cuck bitch, and you can tell him I said that.